In this lesson, I want to show you the dodge and burn tools. These are tools that allow you to adjust the exposure of specific parts of your image using a brush. So let me just take off all of these adjustments that I've made so far. And the dodge and burn tools are right here. The problem with the dodge and burn tool is that it's a destructive edit. So dodging is going to make your photo brighter, burning is going to make it darker. So say I take my dodge tool and you have settings up here like the brush size, the range, which is where this is going to actually affect your photo. If you want it just to affect the shadows, just the midtones, or just the highlights. And then the exposure is sort of how powerful the adjustment is. So what's going to look pretty dramatic is if we use the dodge tool to increase the exposure of some of the darker parts of our image, the shadows down here in our trees. Okay, so you can see that I did that once, and with the exposure set to 100%, it makes it pretty bright. Say you want to maybe do this a little bit more carefully, I might decrease the exposure down. And now as you do this, you can kind of paint over it multiple times. Now, the problem with this is as you do this, it's actually burned into this layer and you can't really undo it. You can't change a dodge that you made 5 steps before without undoing all of the other steps that you took. So what I like to do is before we even start doing any dodging and burning is create a new layer or new version of this photo and call it dodge burn. Some people go as far as doing one layer, creating a copy and dodging, and then creating another, and then burning, and then creating another for every step that you take. But for me, I'm just going to leave this one layer as dodge burn, and I'll show you kind of quickly what I might do to this photo. So as I was doing, I probably would bring up the exposure of these shadows just a little bit in the trees, something like that. I would definitely burn the highlights up here in the mountain. So I'm going to first do the highlights. I'm going to make my brush pretty big. See what that does. Actually, I don't want to do the highlights. That kind of makes it look a little bit like faded. But I'm going to do the midtones. Brush over there. And then also the shadows. One big brush. And then I'm going to go down a little bit smaller and then just enhance some of these shadows that are already on the mountain. So see where the sunlight is? I'm actually playing with the shadows and burning the shadows even more. And what I'll actually then do is take our dodge tool and enhance, brighten up the highlights. But instead of the shadows, I'm going to do the midtones. See how that starts to build up that contrast there? I'm going to burn the shadows of this water tower right here. That was a little too much. I'm going to bring down my exposure quite a bit. Something like that. And that's starting to look pretty good. You can create sort of a custom vignette this way. So if we want to make a really big sort of sweep around here, and that's starting to look pretty good. We're drawing the viewer's eyes to our water towers and this mountain behind us. So turning this on and off, you can see the before and after, what you can start to do with the dodge and burn tool just to affect a specific area of your photo. But remember, make sure you're doing this on a copy of your photo because it is burned in literally. It can't really be undone. We'll be using this tool a little bit more in the retouching section of the course as well for more practical applications. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next lesson.